Well, hi everyone, and welcome to a special episode of my movie story. This is my Christmas movie story. So we're technically the final episode of season one. We did a Halloween special back in October, and you may have seen me reach out to you online, inviting you to come on and speak about your favorite Christmas movie. So we've got a couple of interviews lined up, and I'd like to welcome back Carmen Leal, who we had on the show just a couple of weeks ago. Good to see you again, Carmen. How are you?
I am fantastic, and I am so honored that you invited me back. I didn't screw up too bad, so yay!
No, it's my honor. Honestly, your episode was great. We had a fantastic conversation about your three movies, and if anyone has not seen Carmen's episode, go back, check it out. Episode 19. Fantastic conversation there about three really great films. So make sure you go and check it out. And we're just days away from Christmas now, Carmen. So what happens for you on Christmas Day? What are your traditions?
Well, ironically, I go to the movies. I love movies probably more
Nice.
than you do. My son and his family always go to other grandma's house. So my Christmas is very quiet. I only moved here a few years ago. I don't have those. I have no other families. So we just kind of hang on ourselves. I'll probably
Yep,
cook something decadent that is calorie full and we shouldn't eat, but okay, calories don't count on Christmas.
that's
But
wonderful.
my tradition is I must go to a movie in a theater every Christmas, or it is not Christmas.
Yep.
And that stems from, as a child, we were very poor, 8 kids, and we only got to go to the movies once, and it was on Christmas.
Wow.
We'd all go, and we got to buy popcorn. And so that's my tradition because I just remember it. And the only time I've missed that was when I lived in Africa because we had no electricity and no movie theaters. So I did miss 2 years, but I plot out, and I do not have this year's movie yet, but I'm
Right.
very careful and
Yep.
I buy tickets in advance.
Yep.
And as long as I get my movie, it's
Yeah.
Christmas.
Right. Excellent. Yeah, so you can something to look forward to. And it's interesting hearing other people's Christmas traditions. Here in Australia, for most people, it's Christmas Day. Some people do a Christmas Eve thing, go to midnight mass. Our big movie day is Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, and it's also we have the Boxing Day sales, which is like Black Friday after
Right.
Thanksgiving, and everyone flocks to the shopping center with their vouchers that they got for Christmas or to exchange a gift they got which they didn't like, and go and
Yes, same
go and
thing
watch a
here.
movie. So yeah, so we might try and get to the movies ourselves between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, it's
Take the kids.
interesting when you live
Mm.
somewhere that has so many people who were immigrants and they moved here and they bring along their traditions. So we have
Mhm.
quite a big German American population here, and they're Christmas Eve people
Yeah.
is when the big shebang is. So I think it's interesting to see traditions, and then if you go backwards and see where their families actually came from,
Yeah.
you better understand why they do what they do when they do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, well, I hope it's a good Christmas for you,
and I hope so
and
for you and
Santa.
for your listeners.
Hopefully Santa's good to you as well. And yeah, well, we're here to talk Christmas movies, and I'm really excited about the movie you've chosen because for many years there's been a lot of debate over whether or not this is a Christmas film. And I think now it's pretty much the conversation is over. There might be a few people out there who disagree, but not just a great Christmas film, but one of the best action movies ever. Launched the career of its star. So I'm going to hand it over to you and tell us what is your favorite Christmas movie, Carmen?
My absolute favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard, and I will fight to the death that it is a Christmas movie.
He is alone, he's tired, and he hasn't seen diddly squat from anybody down here.
Hey, pal, how you feeling?
All things being equal, I'd rather be in Philadelphia.
I want life. And you have it.
Only John can drive somebody that crazy.
He's an easy guy to like.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
And a hard man to kill. Bruce Willis. Die Hard.
Got invited to the Christmas party by mistake. Who knew?
I also love like White Christmas, Holiday Inn. I mean, I just love movies and I love Christmas movies, but I find the same depth in Die Hard as I do in It's a Wonderful Life.
Hmm.
And we're going to talk about some of those parallels.
All right.
But there are a lot of people who do not believe it's a Christmas movie. Just give it that Christmas. It's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. It's set on Christmas Eve. Look, it's in Los Angeles in a skyscraper, so there's no snow around. But there are Christmas trees. You know, there's references to Christmas. And when we were talking about this a while back, you had an interesting idea about the character of John McClane and you know the parallels and things like that. So we don't need to summarize the plot. Everybody knows Die Hard. Everyone knows Bruce Willis. Just a little side note, you know, it's really heartbreaking to see his health deteriorating.
Oh, it
with,
is.
Asphasia, I think it's called.
Yeah.
But his daughters and his family are uploading lots of little videos showing their interaction with him and stuff, and which is really nice, but very sad because you know he's just such
It is very sad.
iconic
My husband
actor
died
and-
of Huntington's disease, and it's a different disease, but he did have aphasia, and I did watch him lose himself and not be able to communicate. And it was a really tough time. And so when I see individuals like that, when I see it happen, it flashes back on my life. But what it makes me understand is that we're all human. You can have all the money in the world, you know, all the fame in the world. It doesn't matter when these things happen. You're just a regular person.
That's it.
So,
And good thing that he's got such a supportive family around him who are gonna
yeah, I mean, even
make it
his
comfortable
ex,
for him, and yeah, hopefully when
Yeah.
the time comes, it's not painful, and yeah, and we'll just remember his great body of work. And
oh my gosh, what a great
this was the
body.
film that really launched his career as a movie star. Prior to that, he was famous for his TV show Moonlighting.
We're watching that right now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so
Yes,
Die
it
Hard,
loaded.
so-
It's available now in the US. And so we finished season 1, and
Yeah.
I love the banter. It was
Yeah.
a really fun show.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of it, but way back in the day, it was a little bit before my time. But
I
certainly
have
Die
a friend
Hard,
who was a
yeah.
writer on Moonlighting, and so
Oh, really?
I really love. Yeah, she wrote Moonlighting. She wrote MASH. You know, she had a really great career, and so I it's fun watching, and I look for her name. So
That's cool.
that makes it really fun.
Very awesome. So aside from being set on Christmas Eve, what makes Die Hard a Christmas movie, in your opinion?
You know, John McClane's wife is named Holly.
There you go, Holly.
Okay, so there's that. Obviously, there's trees. Christmas for most people is about being with family. John McClane was going to be with family, reclaim his family. Now we can get real spiritual and we can say Jesus and Mary had to go to Bethlehem. They had to go travel far away to an unknown land so that they could do the census. John McClane, he hated California, but he would do this for his family. It was unknown. He had no idea what he was walking into.
Oh no.
One of the things I love about Die Hard that says to me it's a Christmas movie is the soundtrack.
Mhm.
And some of your listeners maybe haven't seen it for a long time. There's one continuous movie, a piece of music that plays throughout it. And I love the instrumentation. They do it in minor key and major key.
Yeah.
And we're able to see where the plot is going. It's masterful. And that song is Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee,
Yep.
which is a Christmas song.
Yeah.
It didn't maybe start as one, but that's become a Christmas song.
Yes.
And so just the choice of the soundtrack, I think, is really important. Their use of light and
Mhm.
darkness
Mhm.
is huge. When I said I found this just as spiritual and meaningful as It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Potter in The Wonderful Life,
Yep.
what was his big thing, if you remember? He was all about money. That's
Yep.
all it was.
Yeah.
It was a money grab. Hans Gruber, he didn't come to do anything except take the money.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
$650 billion or whatever it was is what he
Yep.
wanted. He's willing to let people die so was Mr. Potter. We're
Mhm.
going to take your home. We'll
Yep.
take your livelihood. So there's that similarity. Money, the Bible tells us that love of money is the root of all evil. And you see that in both of those movies and other classic movies that have stood the test of time. And I know that, we as people, we love stories, but we love stories that speak to us.
Yeah.
And those speak to us. We all have a sin nature, but we all inherently want to be good people.
Mhm.
And we're constantly fighting with, the Satan on one side, angel on one side, or however you want to
Yeah.
phrase it. We're constantly we and I think we see this in this movie over and over and over. Why I think this is absolutely a Christmas movie
Oh yeah.
is not when it took place. It's not the family. It's not the trees. It's the message.
Mhm.
And maybe you've never heard this, or other people. I mean, maybe I'm just too deep. And I'm like, really, really? And I can't think of his name. The character, Hans, Bubby, the smarmy guy,
Oh,
her
Ellis.
coworker.
Ellis.
What's his name?
Ellis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most obnoxious guy.
Oh yeah.
You know who he played in this film? He was the Judas character.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. He
He
betrayed.
was willing
He betrayed him.
he was willing to betray.
Mhm.
So when we look at Christmas in the Judeo-Christian spirit, we're not talking about atheist or whatever, but I don't know about Australia, but we were founded as a Judeo-Christian nation. And our Christmas, though it has morphed into other things, it, at its very core, was about a baby coming to earth
Mhm.
to do what? To grow up, to save the world. That's the core of Christmas. So we wouldn't have salvation on that cross if we hadn't had that little baby.
Mhm.
Now there's, we can get into all kind of spiritual debate. Did Jesus know as a baby what was I don't think he knew. He was a baby. He took on human form. So like John McClane, who didn't know what he was walking into, neither did this little infant that showed up on Christmas. He had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
He
No.
had no idea. But if we look at that story of his 33 years on earth and what happened, it was Judas that betrayed him.
Yep.
For what? For money.
Mhm. Yep.
So when I look at movies like this, I always look for who are all the different characters if we're going to look at it from a spiritual aspect.
Yeah.
And that was Judas, right?
Absolutely. Yep. That was my thought too. Yeah.
Betrayed his company, his co-workers, his wife's husband, or his friend's husband. That's the Judas character.
Yeah.
But if we have Judas, we have to have a savior.
Mhm.
I believe this is a Christmas movie because it shows us that path that John McClane, who had no idea what he was walking into, but he was willing to give up his life to save his wife,
Mhm.
to save the people there, and to save whoever would have been hurt
Yep.
when that building exploded.
Yeah.
He went up. It was masterful the way they wrote it because they could have had him going down.
Mhm.
They could have had the action, underground.
Yeah.
We've seen action movies underground, right? But I think they made a very deliberate choice
Yeah.
to make it go up.
That's right.
And so when we have the Jesus character, we have the Savior against all odds, he's willing to go up and
Yeah.
he's willing to sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice.
That's right. And everyone's
Yeah.
against him, even the police on the ground who don't believe him,
Everybody.
who thinks he's behind it. And he's really only got the two allies, the street cop and Arlo, his limo driver. But
Yeah, but he's so oblivious during the
Yeah.
whole thing.
he's just down in the
he's-
basement having a great time. Yeah.
He's having a super time. That was so great. So, some of your listeners and viewers, they may not be spiritual people. They may go, oh, that's a real reach. And that's okay because it's a great movie just for entertainment value.
Oh, it's a classic.
It's okay not to see these parallels. But if we go back to It's a Wonderful Life, Jimmy Stewart didn't know what he was walking into.
No.
He had no idea. but he saved his family. He saved a town.
Mm.
Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life is the Jesus character.
Yep.
And when we look at the movies, whether they're holiday movies or just movies in general, the ones that we love, the ones that stick with us, that we want to watch over and over, that we discuss, they are typically good versus evil,
Mm-hmm.
good wins, there's a traitor, there's a savior.
Yep.
So when we start screening movies and looking at them through that lens,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yep.
It is absolutely amazing. And most of these movies that I love, that I can see these, they weren't religious movies. But I think because we're always wanting that, we're yearning for salvation. We're yearning for happy endings.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's within us. The writers are writing what's in them.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I'm overthinking this.
No, you're not. And I think it's a testament to the influence of Die Hard and its staying power in movies, because really it was the first action film of its kind where it took the everyman, Bruce Willis, who was this, probably alcoholic, burnt out New York City cop, not a really tough guy, not an imposing guy, because this was the 80s. It was like Schwarzenegger,
Yep.
Stallone, coming off the back of the Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry phase. So they were like the heroes of the big screen. Bruce Willis is like, who's this guy? How's he going to save everybody, right? But like you said, he was driven to save his wife, get back and reunite with his family, and do his job as a police officer. And it created this formula of putting the everyman into one location that he could just escape and save himself if he wanted to. But he's like, I've got to save the people here, and I have to save this institution or this location from being destroyed or used in the wrong way. And then these days when they're pitching action movies, it's like, all right, so it's Die Hard on a train, Die Hard on a ship, Die Hard on a plane. So it created this whole formula.
It did.
And it's definitely a Christmas
another
movie.
thing,
Couldn't agree more.
you said it's in LA, there's no snow. There was snow, all that money. They go, it's snowing.
Yeah.
That was really cool that they were able to reference snow. Because even, not everybody has snow. I lived for years in Hawaii with no snow, but that's our imagery. And so I don't think it's a mistake the way they said, hey, it's snowing. I think, I think this was a 1988 movie, but before that, there was an everyman, but it didn't take place in a building. Like you say, Die Hard on a train, Die Hard in a tunnel, Die Hard. But the other movie I just love, and I watched it last year, and it is that everyman was Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh yeah.
And so, because it's just funny.
Yeah.
But what I like about Die Hard is it got really smart writing. Just when you're ready to go, then he says something real smartly written and Bruce Willis-y. So
and then just quickly, the Die Hard sequels, are you a fan of those, or is it just the first one for you?
I like them all. When COVID happened, we watched them all like in 2 nights.
Yep.
And they progressively didn't get better, let's say that. But you just can't get a bad action movie when you've got the cast they had.
Yeah.
I'd have to look back and see who were the writers, why, what was wrong.
Yep.
They're not ever going to be Die Hard original, but I think they're worthy.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them. But what about you?
Yeah, I definitely like the original trilogy. The second one at the airport is fine. I love Die Hard with a Vengeance, the one in New York City.
Yeah, I thought that was
with Simon Says, the cat and mouse game. That was really good.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the fourth one, Live Free or Die Hard, and I thought they brought him back into it in a reasonably plausible way.
Yeah.
And using the whole hacking and technology. And then the final one where he's in Russia with his son, I thought that was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, that one should never have been made.
No, I wasn't a fan of that. So
That was the one that went,
yeah, but the original one's just, it's so good.
The original was just stellar. I mean, it was just a great cast and a great premise. And there was some setup for the future, you know, showing us the daughter, and then we find out, you know, she's going to be involved. It was just brilliant.
Absolutely.
But there's just so much about it to me that makes it a Christmas movie, even without the spiritual aspect that I hope some of your viewers have never thought about.
Yeah,
because that's not usually an argument that I hear.
No, I think it's getting a bit of traction online now that this is definitely a Christmas movie, and not necessarily one you would, watch religiously on Christmas Day. Maybe some people do. I mean, there's other ones obviously like Home Alone and It's a Wonderful Life and Love Actually
and Christmas
and all that
Story
sort of stuff.
and Elf and
Elf
there's
and all
some
that
really
stuff,
classics that have to be watched every single year. And I don't think Die Hard's one of those for most people.
No.
But for me, even if we eliminate the spiritual aspect, I still think it is a Christmas movie and worthy of where it sits in history. For sure. And kicking off his body of work as a movie star, and it was just really great. But I'm really glad I got to share my kind of unique viewpoint.
Yes, you did. Very unique viewpoint.
We definitely had Judas. We definitely had Judas.
That's what the show's all about. Hopefully people will look at these films in a new light, and if you didn't think this was a Christmas movie before, well, I think we've case closed. I think we've definitely supported that argument here. So thank you once again, Carmen, for being on my.
Oh, you are so welcome.
You're such a fun
interviewer. I love this podcast. I love what you do, why you do it. It's just really fun.
Thank you.
And I think we tend to take ourselves too seriously. We tend to worry too much. Life gets us down, and it's just fun to have an hour or whatever to listen and then say, hey, this is a movie that I haven't seen for a while. I've never seen it ever. I mean, I really hope that you keep doing this for years and years, and you turn some people into movies that they had never thought about, or as I do, looking out in just a different way.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to see Elf last week. I babysat my grandkids.
Nice.
And my grandkids hardly ever get screen time, but we got to do pizza and movie, and I got to watch my 5-year-old watch Elf. And it was his face.
Yeah.
When you watch a movie through the lens of a little child, you get to understand just the brilliance of that movie. And then we watched The Christmas Chronicles, which was an okay movie. It wasn't anything special. But what I loved about that movie is he's watching it, and the little girl jumps in the sleigh when Santa's taking off, and she's not supposed to be there, and she's rolling around. And my 5-year-old grandson says, "What? There's no seatbelts in sleighs?"
Outrage.
Really?
Outrage.
That's your takeaway? There's no seatbelts on a sleigh.
Yeah, so they're so observant, aren't they? They're just the things that they
so
pick up on.
being able to watch these movies with kids, with elderly, with anybody, doing it when it's just you and a friend that are the same age and have the same kind of lived experiences, that's okay. But when you bring in people, last year we had a student from Ghana. We were the liaison for this exchange student. And so we took him to this light display in the park. It's huge. I'm sure you have those there, right?
Yeah.
And so we're driving through, and he's from Ghana, and Christmas in Ghana is inside. They don't do big displays outside. If they do it at all, it's in the house. So we're in here, and he goes, "Carmen, who is this boy with the big head?" Well, that's Charlie Brown. He had never heard of Charlie Brown. And then we're telling him that, and then we keep on, and he goes, "What is this green man?" Well, that's the Grinch. And so we're having to describe everything that we've taken for granted. He didn't know Rudolph. Wow. He didn't know any of these things. That was so much fun.
Awesome.
Explaining to him all these different movies and traditions that were in this park, because he's from a country that has never seen these things. So that was pretty cool too. So movies will do that for us. Movies introduce us to concepts, to places, to characters that we don't know.
Yeah,
and it's really fun sharing them. So I
absolutely.
thank you for letting me be on the show.
Oh no, my pleasure, man. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a lovely Christmas with your family and whatever you do. Enjoy the movies, and
Yes, and you're hosting. So are you the cook or is it your wife? Are
we'll
you
both
effort?
do it. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll help out in some way or
Well,
another.
enjoy that Christmas and
Yep,
don't ever forget the childlike love of the season.
absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Carmen, and
Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Merry Christmas
All
indeed.
right.
Thank
Talk to you soon. See ya.
Yep.
Well, hi, Julie. Welcome to my Christmas movie story. This is our special Christmas episode. It's the first one that we've done. So thanks for coming on the show. Um, for our viewers and listeners, Julie might make an appearance at some point down the line. But yeah, for now, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Julie? What do you do, and where are you from?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Brian.
Thank
I'm
you.
Julie DeLuca Collins, and I am a business and life strategy coach, also a speaker. And I
Cool.
am coming to you live from Connecticut, which is right between New York City and Boston.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I've actually driven through Connecticut once on my drive from
Yeah.
Boston to New York. I didn't stop there, but
Well, I am sure you
yeah.
drove by my exit because my exit is the one where a lot of people stop. There's
Right,
a famous deli in my exit, and people
right,
tend to stop to go to the diner or the deli, which are in the same shopping plaza.
right. Awesome, awesome. And I believe the main city there is Stamford. Is that correct?
Well, Stanford is one of the big cities, but
One of the big cities?
Hartford, which is the suburb, I live in the suburb, or Hartford, which is the capital. There's also New Haven, there's Bridgeport. Bridgeport is the largest city in Connecticut, but
Right.
Hartford is the capital city where I live.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was familiar with Stamford because I actually many years ago I worked on summer camps in America.
Oh,
We call it the Camp
okay.
America experience. And the head
Mm,
office of Camp America in America is in Stamford,
in
Connecticut.
Stanford, yeah.
And I
There's
got
some
to
beautiful places
use
and
that.
campgrounds in
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Yeah, my camp was in Pennsylvania, and but yeah, a lot of the people who I sent over to work on camp ended up in Connecticut, New York State, New
Mhm.
Jersey, all those places. So yeah, definitely a nice part of America. And you're a New Yorker originally, so that
Yeah.
would be an interesting city to be in around Christmas and all of that.
It is.
Always
It's
looks
one
very
of the most
picturesque.
beautiful places.
Yeah,
Yeah, beautiful to be there in the city.
definitely, definitely. And with Christmas just around the corner, like what are your traditions? What do you normally do Christmas Eve, Christmas Day? What's your thing?
Yeah. So it's funny. I am partially from New York, but to be quite honest, I'm from also El Salvador. I spent the
Oh,
first
right.
10 years of my life there. My mom is from El Salvador, but my dad is from New York, and that's really why I identified being more of a New Yorker because that's been the constant in my life.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
so now, since moving to Connecticut from New York City, my mom lives in Georgia, my other sister lives in Miami. Um, so my husband has a very big family. Yet, even though they live here in Connecticut, they're about an hour from us. During
Hmm.
Christmas, we typically have a Christmas party for the family. And we have tons of people, nieces and nephews and grand nieces and nephews, and everybody gets together. It's not
Nice.
during Christmas Eve or Christmas Day because most people, their nuclear families are spending time together. But New Christmas Eve, I host an open house at our home. And this is the place that I want people to feel welcome. I'm always going to have an open house. You can come anytime
Hmm.
between 6 o'clock, midnight, come for a drink, come for a cup of tea. I have some appetizers. We can play games or just talk or
Nice.
dance. Every year tends to take a different flavor depending on who's here.
Right.
And then Christmas Day, we have some really good friends, and they're sort of our adopted family. They adopt us for the
Mhm.
holidays. They come here Christmas Eve. We go to their house Christmas Day, and we spend time with them. And we have created this little tradition. We've been married almost 12 years now with my husband, and we go to our good friend's home. And then in the morning, my husband and I, sometimes we may have family staying with us. My mom has been here in the last couple of years for Christmas Day. So we open presents. I like to open at least one gift Christmas Eve and then the rest Christmas Day. We have doggies and we don't have kids. So we tend to have little gifts for the doggies as well. And then we try to call everyone in our family and get everybody called before we leave the house.
Right.
But yeah, that's what we tend to do. We hang out in our
nice.
pajamas and
Yep.
and have a nice, lovely leisure breakfast before we
Excellent.
get the day going.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to hear everyone, the different traditions that people have. And yeah, it's all about just getting together. And I really like the idea of how you have the open house on Christmas Eve. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Be nice to just sort of drop in and, catch up with people that way. Make sure you see as many people as you can around Christmas time. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love
beautiful.
it. And my grandmother had that kind of a home. My grandmother in El Salvador, she always had a big Christmas, a Christmas Eve party. And it was an open house where everybody can come. So I actually, for Christmas Eve, I tend to make a Salvadorian dish, which I'm not very good at because it's basically a turkey sandwich.
Right.
So I make turkey and I make these specialty Salvadorian turkey sandwiches with a special sauce, but I make lots of
good.
appetizers and
Yeah.
that's my way of kind of connecting to my roots as well.
Yep. Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually made me a bit hungry. So
Oh, that's
just
right,
hearing
because it's
that.
getting to be lunchtime for you, huh?
It is. It's around lunchtime here. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the stomach's
Yeah.
grumbling. And obviously, a big part of Christmas is the Christmas movies. And we were chatting just before that you like to watch a lot of Christmas movies.
I
And
do.
here you're here today to tell us what your favorite Christmas movie is. And it's going to be a very well received choice because this is a very popular Christmas film.
Ooh.
Definitely in Australia, in England, where this film is from, it's a big favorite. So yeah, tell us what is your favorite Christmas film, Julie, and we'll try and sum it
Well,
up as best as we can.
okay, so here we go. My favorite Christmas movie is Love Actually.
Universal Pictures invites you
What's the best sex you've ever had?
Britney Spears. No, I ain't kidding. She was rubbish.
to take everything you know about love
You have this kind of problem? Yeah, of course you did, you saucy minx.
and multiply it by 8.
Would you excuse me for 1 second? Okay, that's done.
Hugh Grant, Liam Neeson, Colin Firth, Laura Linney, Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman, Rowan Atkinson, Keira Knightley.
Christmas is the time to be with the people you love.
Yeah, I need a car.
This holiday season,
Does Natalie live here?
all you need
Hello.
is love, actually.
Are you singing carols?
I suppose I could.
Please, sir, please.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Steve.
Which again, I know it's a very popular film. It came out in 2003 and it's got obviously so many different characters, but
Yeah.
I love the interconnectivity of the stories within the movie. And I shared with you earlier, I watch it at least twice every Christmas season, and my husband kind of rolls his eyes, but it's fun to watch and pick up a little bit of a different detail every time you watch it, because there is a lot going on and there isn't just one plot. There's multiple plots that you're following.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah. And the title coming from the original song, Lovers All Around.
That's right.
That
That's right.
opening narration with Hugh Grant, who plays the
Mhm.
minister, and it's the footage of the people at Heathrow Airport, and instantly you're like, okay, this isn't like a romantic comedy love story set at Christmas. This is just about love in every form and shape that it takes. And there's some really, there's some really sweet stories going on. There's a bit of heartbreak, a bit of heartache, lots of different things. So with all those different characters and stories going on, would you say you have a particular one or more that is like your favorite, or the one you connect with the most?
I have to say love every story. There's 10 different stories, I believe, in
Yeah, that's right.
within the plots. But I do love the story of the Hugh Grant character, obviously the Prime Minister.
Mhm.
And he has a love interest and happens to be his, I guess, housekeeper, who works in the mansion in the I forget what it's called now. So
Downing
sorry, I'm
Street.
not think Downing Street, yes.
Downing Street,
And
yeah.
and it's kind of their interactions and sort of you don't see a lot of interactions, but the interactions you can see that you connect with people, and sometimes we don't really, we create these small connections, but we kind of dismiss them.
Yep.
And there's a part in the movie in which he's like, no, there is more of a connection. And I kind of messed up, and I kind of let me kind of go back and kind of rekindle that connection. So I like that. And of course, I like the story of Jamie and Aurelia, who Jamie plays is again, Jamie is we see him in the very beginning of the movie. He's going to a wedding, and he sadly finds out that his girlfriend is not being faithful, and I believe it's his brother, and I think I just figured this out, that it was his brother who she's being unfaithful with.
That's right.
So he is a writer, and he goes to the south of France to write and leaves England. But while he is there, he connects with a young woman who is helping around the house. She's Portuguese, and they have the barrier of language, and yet they're able to kind of connect in a different level. And it's funny how in one of the scenes they're speaking, and he's speaking in English, she's in Portuguese, but they're really not. And she's saying one thing and he's saying the same thing, but kind of like contradicting what she's saying. And it's funny.
Right.
It's a really fun place.
Funny.
Yeah.
They still find a way to communicate. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So I love those two pieces of it. But again, there's so many different plots that are going in and out. And you wonder, like, what would I do in that circumstance? Or how would I have handled something like that? So that's also the piece that I really like.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And there's something for everyone in this film, and it's not a film that, I'm going to say men typically who might dismiss it as like a sappy love story. There is something for everyone in this, and I watched it out of curiosity when it first came out, and I was like, wow, that was really cool. It was different. It was refreshing, and I liked the story of Liam Neeson and his son, or his wife's son. I think it's his stepson.
Yeah.
His wife has passed away. The son then says, "I'm in love," and the dad's like, "What?" He's in love with this girl at school, learns the drums for her. And then, at the end, that chase through the airport, just brilliant. It's just really, really heartfelt story, that one. I really liked that.
Yeah.
And I have to admit,
love that. And
the one with the guy who wants to go to America so he can score with American chicks.
That's right.
That was good. That was the comic relief of the film for sure, for some of those heavy.
That was, and it's funny how they kind of like interjected, and my husband is like, this is not realistic. I'm like, it's a movie. It's okay. They can take some poetic license.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. And I like the other piece of the movie too. And this is the wedding that it kind of opens up. The scene is Juliet, Peter, and Mark, right? The three characters, and how the best man is he is in love with the bride, and you kind of come up with that after a while. But the realization that she has when she realizes that, wait a minute, he doesn't hate me, was making assumptions that's how, that he disliked me, and again, we do that a lot in life. We make assumptions about what other people think, and we have no idea what is going on behind their mind. And I like that part of the story too, that, it's a good reminder for all of us that don't take, you never know what someone is thinking about you.
Yeah, you never know. And love takes on many different forms, and there's different levels of it. There's like there's the infatuation, there's the crush, there's the the lost love and then helping someone else find love, which is the Liam
Mhm.
Neeson, son storyline, and
Yeah.
then the PM who thinks he has to act a certain way, but he's like, well, I'm feeling something here. I
Yeah.
can't deny that because it ends up driving him crazy. And then interspliced with all of those, you've got that song by Bill Nye, this washed up old pop star
Yep.
who has some of the funniest scenes in the
Yeah.
film as well.
And even he has a
Yeah.
love story, right? He has
Yeah,
a
with
love
his
story
manager,
of his
something.
manager who has
Yeah.
been there throughout time, and we take for granted. We think love, the ultimate kind of love, is either the parent and child or the husband and wife or romantic love, but there's other relationships can be as meaningful and deep as well.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yes, there's a beauty between parent and child, there's a beauty between husband and wife, or the partners, but there's also the ability to, we don't have to feel alone because we're surrounded by other people who we can have deep and meaningful relationships with as well.
That's right. Yeah, and the fact that it's set at Christmas, it's like that's what's
Mhm.
bringing everyone together. All those who
Yeah.
are alone realize like I don't want to be alone anymore, and then they're like,
Mhm.
this is my chance to show love for this person on Christmas. Yeah, so it's a nice
Yeah.
tie-in, and it was a
Yeah.
refreshing take on Christmas because really in this film, Christmas is kind of more just like the backdrop, really, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's sort of
Yeah.
the lead up to Christmas. It's 3 weeks to Christmas, 2 weeks to Christmas, It's
Mhm.
more about the characters, but then everything all happens on Christmas Eve, and it's it's a
Yeah.
the ending, the way how all the different scenes play out was really nice,
Yeah.
and yeah.
I love it, and I think that that's the case that we forget. We talk about the Christmas season. Let's stop and be aware. And yeah, I love that we take time, we pause, we hopefully are reflecting.
Yeah.
But kindness, right? Or showing up for other people, connecting with others. That's not something that only should happen at Christmas. It could be something that we carry on throughout the year. And I love that theme as well, because I think that however the relationships tend to evolve with the background, but with the backdrop of Christmas, these relationships are relationships that are going to, keep going, and real life will happen, but
Yeah.
you can make a choice of how you're going to show up in these relationships as well.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I'm making it deeper than it may, but
Oh
maybe,
no,
but
I
I
think
love
it's very
that.
deep. I think it's when you stop and look at it, and the stories and the characters and what's going on. Yeah, there's definitely some deep
Yeah.
truths there. And yeah, again, like I think it's something for everybody. You've got the drama, you've got the romance, you've got the comedy, and then that very unusual little subplot about those two stand-in actors who are standing in for some
Oh,
sex scene or something.
yes, that's right.
And they're naked the whole time,
And
and they're just having a conversation like it's any old, and then they end up
that's right.
becoming a couple as well. So it was really
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
That's a funny one because they're filming, I guess, like a sex movie, and here they are just
Yep.
kind of acting nonchalant,
Yep.
but then
It's
it
another
goes
day at the
back to,
office.
right, like you can have a physical connection with someone, but it's the actual conversation and getting to know someone that creates the deeper connection. And at the end, so they're John and Judy, I believe there are their names, and they create this connection in which they've gotten to know each other and gotten past sort of the physicality of what they're doing into just really paying attention to who they are.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like that.
Definitely. Yeah. And
Yeah.
such a great
And
cast. You've got Hugh Grant, Liam
I
Neeson,
know.
Keira
Emma
Knightley,
Thompson.
Emma
Yeah.
Thompson, the late great
Yeah.
Alan Rickman,
Oh my goodness. He was
Rowan
amazing in that
Atkinson
movie too.
in a
Yeah.
very funny scene where he's filling the bag up and all.
Oh my gosh, he was great. And
That
then
just
I
goes on
love
and
how
on.
he also shows up at the end of the movie in the airport scene.
Yep.
And Sam, the young man who had lost his mom, and Liam Neeson plays the dad,
That's right.
how he kind of intercedes in a very nonchalant kind of way, in his own way, and
That's right.
kind of plays a role too in the movie
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah,
I
it's
like
great.
that.
It's great, yeah, and it's a film you can go back and you can try and absorb
Mhm.
all the stories, or you can just go back and just watch and focus on one story, and they're all like fully
Yeah.
fleshed out stories,
Yeah.
and the way they put it all together was very smart, I thought, and
Oh
very
yeah,
creative, yeah.
absolutely.
And what
And
just popped in my mind was I think maybe about 5 years ago they did that little short film, Love Actually, where they brought some of the actors back. It was like a 15-minute short film or something. You didn't see that? Or hear
Not
about that?
seen that. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
go Google.
I think it's on YouTube.
that.
Yeah, and I think
Okay.
it's set on Valentine's Day, and it's like catching up with the
Okay.
characters. I'm pretty sure it was
Got
2018,
it.
so 15 years.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go see
Pre-COVID.
what's happening.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's some little short film that says "Where are they now?" sort of thing, and I think Hugh Grant's back.
Nice.
Liam Neeson, the guy
Okay.
that was in love with his friend's wife. I think they bring them all back.
Mhm.
And,
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
so,
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
Because you do wonder, like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a snippet. This is a short snapshot of one season in life, right? And we
Yep.
have so many different seasons, and so much could change within a season. Can you imagine with multiple years passing by? So, that's intriguing to me. Phenomenal. I
really
can't wait
cool.
to see it.
Yeah,
I'll
really
have
cool.
to. I'll have to send you a message and tell you what I
Yes.
think.
Yeah. We could maybe do a little follow-up podcast about
Yeah.
15-minute short film.
There you go.
The podcast might go longer than the film. We'll see how we go. But
Who
yeah,
knows? Who knows?
yeah, thank you, Julie. Thanks for coming on and sharing your Christmas
Yeah,
story
you're
with us.
welcome.
And hopefully
Anytime.
we'll see you in a future episode, maybe.
Maybe that's
No
right.
spoilers there, but yeah, thank you, and have a terrific Christmas and a safe
Oh,
holiday
Brian, you
season.
too.
And thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing your Christmas story with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having such a fun show and for allowing us to share our fond memories and thoughts on the movies that we love. So keep doing what you're doing, and Merry
you.
Christmas to you and your family.
Thank you very much.
And I hope it's a beautiful season.
Thanks a lot, Julie. All right. Take
You're
care.
welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.